All right, here we are, ladies and gentlemen. Match point for T1 after their last victory, and D+ made the courageous decision to go on to red side. Which does mean it's a conundrum moving into Game 5 for T1 if they lose this one.
Yeah.
Because what then do you choose? You know?
I think the nice thing about that and the fact that T1 got the earlier game is that they get to choose. So if they're look, King having counterpick, having that flexibility was an issue, they can swap to red side. If they just want to tweak the draft a little bit, they can stay on the same side on blue. So pros and cons, always a difficult decision in a series. And if we get to that Game 5, will be something for them to reevaluate. But for now,
this feels like the first game of playoffs without Ziggs.
pretty much.
That's what it feels like. I think there has been 2 other Ziggs bans or something like that.
I think the problem is we've seen... So Ziggs has obviously been picked on blue side. Yeah, a bit of a trade there. Ziggs has been picked on blue side, and red side just has too many picks to bans. And especially this later stage of playoffs, it feels like each team has just forced bans specifically against them, and it's why we've seen the LeBlanc and the Azir now being left open kind of back to back, because these are picks that people were banning against these players and currently are not. And you know what, Zeus? I don't feel any sympathy for you after the KT series.
Yeah, after what you did, this is justice for perfect.
Absolutely. Hopefully he's watching at home and he's just like, yes, do it, King. Make him pay.
Well, I mean, these first few levels certainly going to be very, very rough. As Moham doesn't find the crash down, that's a deadly flourish, and the punish is very large. Of course, you don't get to proc the aftershock, so that means you're very squishy while you're sort of just standing there.
We're so used to Keria playing these range picks, these eclectic picks, and he's returning to things like Leona last game, Yasuo this game. His laning has been really sharp. I feel like his decisions around this rel, when to trade, when to use his cooldowns, has actually netted T1 decent advantages in the bot lane, so continuing to see that there. And Zeus, lane looked horrible, looking like he's doing a little less horribly now.
Yep. Mega Gnar is, of course, going to help feed you a bit of health every now and again. And so you can see he's able to get back towards some farm parity. King just holding the wave here at the turret. He does have his jungler towards the top side of the map as well. Oner is over here. We'll see whether they can set something up to try and play this one defensively. As, yeah, Oner is going to be jumping onto his blue buff, and I don't know how much he can actually do to try and influence. As Rift Scuttle Vision going to be picked up here by D+, just retaining as much control of this top side as they possibly can. And now Aiming could be in trouble here, has to flash the Deadly Flourish. Moham, a little bit late, left his AD carry alone. That is going to spell the Summoner spell.
Ideal situation is to get a bit closer so that you can just W and force Aiming's flash, but Keria knew that Moham was coming behind him, didn't want to leave it late and then end up on the tower, so just takes the trade there. And
oh, doesn't trade though. Hex Flash.
Oh, true. Unlocks his Hex Flash.
Activate.
Value, but also taking it off the immobile Misfortune, definitely something you can capitalize on. So we'll see if T1 make a move to punish that later on. This is part of the problem that's playing into Yone, is that Yone just goes this setup with Second Wind, Doran Shield, Fleet Footwork, and also has no mana, so even if you trade, you just still lose, even if you're trading advantageously.
Yeah, it's a little bit worrying. Speaking of worrying, Moham possibly in trouble here, as Lucid trying to move down. Moham does have his flash, but wasn't able to use it, and Oner was in the area. So that meant they were able to lock down First Blood. Gumayusi grabs that one, and I think this Jhin game is going to feel a lot better than the last one.
Yeah, bot lane just kind of bleeding out in the 2v2. This isn't influence from junglers. Guma and Keria on sharp form, and not only beating Aiming's flash earlier, but able to get the kill on a Moham now. Keria threatening here, using a Hex Flash.
Yeah.
As he has unlocked it. And all in all, top lane isn't going that hot for Kingen, considering how rough the matchup could have been. But yeah, Moham looks for Guma, but doesn't connect. And
yeah, it was a great cleanse. Great cleanse.
Really good. And then one shot in is the Rel. Not great options to get out, especially as he dismounted. If you remount, you still have that movement speed available, but you're so slow when dismounted. And yeah, I mean, this is my takeaway, is that the fact Zeus can do this matchup is not going how I expected to. I thought Kingham would have a lot more pressure here onto Zeus, so he's fine in the top lane. Bot lane's winning for T1. all in all, things are looking positive.
Yeah, things looking really good. T1 on track for the 3-1 finish to this series, with then Just Be Humble Life Esports standing in their way once again. We're recycling the scripts here in the LCK. It's basically how it goes. Just getting a little bit lazy.
Has anyone checked on the script writers?
Well, this is the thing. As, all right, Keria goes in, looking for a little bit of an angle here, but it's not exactly the most value as Lucid, possibly now the one out of position. The Unbound Soul coming back up again for Showmaker relatively soon as they're looking to start these grubs, aiming, wanting to catch the wave that's moving towards the bottom side. That is going to be grubs picked up, or at least the first one here by Lucid with the smite. As aiming moves on over, makes it rain. Gumayusi still in the area as Crashdown comes through there from Moham. There's the Pulverize onto 2, gets onto Showmaker into the backline. Moham going to be the target though, and Ona takes him down. Now Kingen forced to use the Valkyrie, so now has to flash if he wants to get over this wall. Lucid to try and get in there, and he does. Oh, but the Gnar is so good from Zeus! And Ona is there for the follow-up as well. Not this time, Lucid. Zeus throws a house at him, and T1 are already running away with this one.
D+ go on to red side to give Kingen the advantage in the matchup, and Zeus just doesn't care. Stomps him to the ground, catches Lucid too. At this game already 2,000 gold lead at 7 minutes. Things are looking rough for D+. This looked like the season where they could challenge. They could make it to the top, but they are in a bit of a hole in this game so far. They'll have to try and find an angle back into it. They lose out on the grubs. You can see Lucid moving over towards the bot side with Dragon up and available, but I think maybe reeling a little bit after that play.
Ooh, gets the flash out. Actually commits to the crash down there, does Moham.
It was a good flash because his cleanse isn't quite up and available. Couldn't make the same escape as he did last time, so pretty nifty one there from Guma.
Yeah, still have to use it. Aiming doesn't have his though. So D+. They are still in this, right? But 1.5k is a decent advantage now for T1, and they also get the majority of the objective here as well. We look at Moham go for it.
That dash from Faker, honestly, so good. I mean, I feel like it's hard to fault Moham, but they're playing around this rel so well. They're so ready for it to look for this engage. And then here, perfect timing on the Mega Gnar here for Zeus.
Yeah, the Gnar is just so well placed. Just tells him to chill out a little bit.
And also notice that like he disengages from the Corki, so there's no chance the Corki can burst him back. He like backs off, lets Ona get the kill, and then knows the Maokai doesn't have threat. Beautiful play.
Going in once again as great Pulverize. I mean, Keria is really showing us in ways that a lot of other players weren't quite able to, why the Alistar is good into the realm.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is we often hear these things about these matchups and we see it and it doesn't always come to fruition. And then you see it piloted by some of our best and you really get it.
Yeah.
And Keria put on a masterclass right now. Ona will spot the Maokai, and if you look at the gold lead across the board, there is advantages. I think the most crazy one is the fact that there's a 900 gold lead for Ona over Lucid right now.
Yeah, it's monstrous. This red buff now under fire as Moham just looking to be that front line, wanting to hold that so that the tree can pick it up. You can see a bit of a wander back to lane as Aiming still looking to put that Bloodthirster together. Hasn't quite got that one done yet. As decent knock up there from Showmaker. He's able to get back to his soul, so he's all right.
Yeah, he's okay. Guma gonna probably get a plate here. But yeah, I think as well, you know, obviously having a lead in a Sejuani, it's not the person you're like, oh, we won off Sejuani fed. But the fact of seeing the early Locket Rush and Lucid going to Liandry's is a lot more expensive, just so far ahead there. But Locket in these early skirmishes is so strong.
Owie. Okay, Kingen still a little bit scary. But he's not that far ahead, right?
I expected to see more of this, I'm going to be honest. You know, more Corki just melting Gnar in the trades. And, you know, Zeus gets chunked out, but he's fine. He's got a Cull.
Well, Zeus is going to jump on top of Lucid here, but he had a friend on his way. And that is a Valkyrie out, but that means Lucid is well and truly dead. And so it was DK setting up for the play, and it's T1 that profit.
Yeah, and Lucid, you can see him in the player cam, pretty frustrated by this one. It's difficult. He's trying to find an avenue back in, but it just keeps getting worse and worse. And now with Demolish, T1 going to get loads of damage onto this tower. Showmaker trying to aggress mid, but doesn't find anything. Keria.
Oh, yeah, the Unbound Soul's there. There's the flash. Gets the Pulverize. There's the Emperor's Divide. The ulti out here from Showmaker finds an angle. But there is Ona on his way. And I don't know how the Yone is going to be able to escape this one. Oh, the Blast Cone! Okay, Trimmick able to get a flash, and he's gonna live.
Yeah,
Well, he's
so-
gonna back on a ward. I'm a bit scared about that one. Make it rain coming down here towards this bottom lane. Good sidestep there from Gumayusi. Throws down the cleanse as well. Trimmick gets a shield. Is this the bait? The answer's no, as Faker is just gonna be able to take him down. Permafrost comes in, and Faker flashes just for good measure. Gumayusi eating all of the spells in the bottom lane. And yeah, Moham has to get out of there. Lucid,
Flash?
yeah, he does have flash. And that is going to be the kill. So Lucid is finally on the board. But man, this is not a great trade.
If Guma got out there, it's just game over. It's just
Oh yeah,
over.
no, that's FF.
Couldn't handle it. You couldn't handle it, but it's
That's over and out.
That is over and out indeed. Yeah, so great bait here by Zeus. Just walks in the brush in Mega. And D+ don't expect Ona to be there. Lucid ends up going down. Pretty straightforward. Nothing else he could do. Even Ona ulting Kingen to make him disengage. And then this later play, I think one of the mistakes was because Faker used the shuffle, they kind of pushed him so far away that he could ult freely. So he can find space to ult away.
Oh, that is another dead Corki situation. Well, this time a dead Corki situation instead of the tree. You can see Kingen a little bit upset with how things are going right now.
No, we didn't get to see the replay of it, but that top fight where Faker survived on like 2 HP, the locker actually came in so clutch that to keep him alive. And Guma, you know, he's just weathering the storm.
Yep.
And T1 are just massively winning elsewhere. And D+ is trying to make things happen here. There is a big wave coming in, but Kerry is coming too.
Yep, Guma's job is to exist without being a nuisance, and right now he's doing a great job. Pulverize does come on through here. There's the Flash Magnet Storm. Lands onto both, though. Showmaker getting down here. Wants to try and lock up the Jhin. He does find it, and he's able to snap back. Takes a turret shot with him, and the house as well. Almost enough to take him down, but not quite. So DK able to at least grab themselves a dive,
I mean,
but they're going to need way more than this.
Showmaker's lucky that he only has a slender figure, because the house was dangerously close there. But it's a good play from D+. They're making things happen. They know that even though T1 are fine with Guma weathering the storm, they have to make something happen somewhere. This play, Guma doing a pretty good job to dodge away from the crash down, gets Moham low. But just trying to ult and look for Moham, but is forced out of it by the MF ult, and then here chase down. Wasn't able to get like the Q auto there. Maybe didn't have enough mana and gets chased down.
Yeah. It was well played to follow it up, but it's a flash having to be invested. I feel like Guma just bought so much time. And then all of this other stuff happened, and our observers got a little bit confused. We're going back here. Have a look at this one as well, as Gumayusi does finally go down, and it's right on the edge.
But look at this house from Zeus. How it's like,
oh. Yeah. All right, Emperor's Divide here towards the bottom lane, as Faker is really dead. What does T1 get for it, though? Which is the question that we often have to ask. Zeus is just looking to dive this turret. There's the Gnar. Doesn't get the wallop, though, and Zeus not able to hit the house. As now Gumayusi could be in trouble. Kingen trying to get some revenge. There's a lot of pent-up frustration, but he doesn't overextend. And the curtains have now been called. Some sidestepping to come through here. Headbutt pole, that's going to set it up. There's the flash out as Kingen gives him the thumbs up, and he goes 0-4. You can see grinning in the player cam. Not a whole lot he could do there.
Kingen having a rough time, trying to make things happen. It's really not working. He's kind of abandoned top lane because it's very cooked, but
I feel like he's had these exact items for 10 minutes.
Doesn't inspire too much confidence, I'll tell you that much. And D+ do get the tower bot lane for the Gold King. And I will say, it's been scrappy. The game looks very doomed. It's still not in a great spot, but at least D+ are kind of clawing back some of the disadvantages.
Yeah, the more weird they keep it, I think the better it is for them. Because if they just fall into T1's rhythm and T1 just takes everything on the map and then wins and DK don't go for anything, that's when it's completely doomed, right?
Yeah.
DK, I think, still need to go for plays and try to take the risky way out. Yeah, Faker really wanted to get that wave.
That's on you.
Wait.
You know what?
Was Lucid standing on a ward?
I assume not.
Because the rest of the team was kind of coming down. Maybe it was a bait move.
Maybe it was a bait, I don't know. But I think Guma should have warned Faker about the dangers in the bot lane.
Yeah, the bot lane
Faker wasn't aware.
Yeah, Faker's just been happily laning. Hasn't been too much attention. And that's not necessarily working out here. All right, aiming set up alongside Gumayusi here in this mid lane. as we've got some side laning happening as both the top outer and the bottom outer had been taken. It's part of the reason I think why DK were kind of within touching distance. I think they managed to take down that turret before the top one did fall down. But now back to about a 3,500 gold lead.
I think the two things in this game is that the game's not in a great state, but it's not like you have LeBlanc Maokai mid-jungle and you're just falling off a cliff.
Yeah, true.
There's the potential for like a big wombo combo, you know, aiming and Showmaker with Moham. You can see a window where if T1 make mistakes, they can be punished, but T1 definitely in firm control with a massive lead. Looking to establish some control around the Dragon area to get that next Drake. And I think part of the issue as well is that because you have an Alistar and because you have a fed Sejuani, they can just face check everything. Yeah. And you don't have the damage to cut through them. I mean, you don't have that much damage in general because you're behind, but you definitely don't have the damage to cut through either of those targets. And I think as a result, T1 can kind of just take this one in a very measured manner. And when they're contesting space, you know, have the people who are super tanky do so.
And Zeus is now 2 levels ahead as well. So this counter matchup that Kingin was trying to set up for himself just hasn't really worked. He is still, like, you know, it's not as bad as last game, which says a lot more about last game, I guess. And this is not how this one is supposed to go.
Yeah. Especially the fact they, I mean, I think, you know, we can only speculate, we're not told the reason, but the fact they went on red side clearly was to get a matchup that was good for King. And
yeah.
Like, at least last time, like, you were counter-picked, right? This time, you're the one who's opting into it, and it just feels a lot worse.
Well, Moham gonna have to try and crash his way out of this one. Permafrost comes down though, and now Aiming's gonna have to come over. Does he find the ulti? He doesn't even look for it just yet as Lucid. Oh, that Bramble Smash Flash was pretty good. Faker not gonna find the sweep as now Showmaker looking for an angle. Bullet time comes in. Kerry able to tank for a while, does have the ulti, but they pile in on top of the Azir, and he goes down. Showmaker still has ult, as Gumayusi at full health, but Make It Rain comes down to slow him up.
Yeah, maybe a bit of an overstep
clears things out
there from T1. Baiting the Seeker's Arm Guard and Ona's Flash, some big resources invested there. And they obviously do get Moham, but feels a bit deep. And you can kind of see how, even though they are still ahead, that there is threat on the other side that they have to be aware of. Now, Kerry is hanging around, but doesn't have Warmog, so
yeah, I feel like a lot of
health.
A lot of T1's lead does reside in the top lane in the form of the Gnar as well.
And the Sejuani, who is tanky, and that's about it.
Yep. And Ona is now in the back of a Dragon Pit. Showmaker chasing after him here. We can see the Maokai makes his way back.
This is a pretty late reset for T1. You can see Faker and Carrier coming out of the map. So if D+ want to do this, want to make it faster. It looks like they blinked that Dragon.
We blinked for a second.
2 in bag. This is pretty good for D+. Now they have to try and protect their mid-tier 1 if they can. Aiming can just... Oh, he doesn't have ult, sorry. He won't be able to ult the wave. This might just be gone.
Yep. It's going to be a charge, and the turret is going to survive for the moment, but that's just you know, a stiff breeze that is going to fall down.
Satchel away. There's no Ziggs in this game, so...
Finally. We don't have to talk about, you know, Seraph's Embrace being built instead of Liandry's and things like that. In fact, we get Liandry's that we don't even want in this game. It's beautiful. Flash comes out from Gumayusi, who is really exercising his D and F buttons in today's game, as Crashdown just going to be once again interrupted. Moham is very annoyed of the existence of this Alistar. And Faker is just going to be split pushing here towards the top side of the map. Some cinders to be collected there as well, as Showmaker also gets one. It's a cinder off. As can he find an ulti angle? That's the question here. Doesn't actually look for it. Just Q's forward, doesn't quite get there. And you can see Showmaker actually able to put on a fair bit of pressure now. Let's have a look at this replay here, as this was a weird, messy fight.
Yeah, so they find Moham, and with the help from Guma, they're able to burst out the Rel. That's completely fine. But Carrier kind of gets held around, and then they commit here for Lucid. And Faker misses the Emperor's Divide. Does have the Seeker's Arm Guard to wait for time, but I think if they'd just taken the flash from Lucid, that's a completely fine play, and they would have gotten Dragon. Just committing for a bit more than was necessary. And it's kind of like, you know, we saw in previous games where like Flash was being burnt, and then it was like, okay, well now we can do Baron because they can't get in. The fact that was D+ who did that against T1, I think they should have had that approach.
Whoa, we got another one here as Carrier goes in. Oh, actually a level up which is kind of crazy, is aiming. Can you find the out here is the question. The answer is no. Zeus just down. Oh, never mind. The Bloodthirster is so strong. And the ulti now comes in just to play interference there from Showmaker. Aiming. I don't know how he stayed alive there.
Yeah, I mean, good moves from D+, punishing the over-aggression from T1 Faker, now overstepping, and the whole of D+, trying to collapse in.
Oh god, I think this is a turret for Faker type angle here, but he's not actually quite able to take the turret down just yet. Ono just trying to hoof it towards his bottom lane, able to avoid the ulti with the twisted advance. Beautifully done. Shattering strike, and that is going to be a dead Faker. Kingen locks down that kill, his first of the game, and has reset his gold. Outer turret does fall in the mid lane. That is certainly good news. As Lucid looking to try and at least also steal away this Krug camp. And D+, they're fighting back.
They are, and the thing is as well, you know, the gold lead still looks big, but it's a 5-0-5 Sejuani. Most of that gold is locked up on the Sejuani, which
under ice.
Yeah, frozen over.
Yeah.
And here, they think they have aiming, it flashes out, and Zeus just walking him with the mini-bar, but the healing comes in.
We need to get Yundo on that, see how much health aiming actually had. It looked like 2.
And then here, Lucid, you know, he's obviously trying to get in range for the perfect time for this W to dodge away from the ult, the Glacial Prism from the Sejuani. And the follow-up is there for the team, which is back-to-back. D+ making good plays. And this game, especially with the fact they have 2 dragons in pocket, feeling a lot more contested.
Oh, yeah. We've got a game in our hands. It's actually here. He was down to 11 HP.
Well,
so that's better than 3.
That's 10 more HP than he needed.
Yeah.
So a bit of
kind of overshot it. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe could have pulled it closer.
Yeah. Didn't need to really pop the potion. Let's be honest. Okay. Kingen now pretty scared of Zeus. I would be too. But aiming, I don't know whether he is, especially not after that last play. Is bullet time and takes down the Gnar. And you can see the shake of the head there from Zeus.
Yeah, it's a good move, because the thing is with the MF, you don't have TP, but you're so fast at navigating the map, it doesn't take long to get back. Kingen could recall and TP in if T1 started Baron. I just don't think they were in position to, so a great read from D+. And it feels like back to back to back, we're getting situations where D+ are finding advantages, aiming on top as the Gold King.
Oh yeah.
And the thing is, you know, there's like a 1.6k gold lead between the junglers now. There is still a big gold advantage across the board, but I think the game is feeling better and better for D+ right now.
Yep. Not to mention the fact that Maokai is going to do the same thing whether he has 10,000 gold or 15,000 gold. It's just he'll have more time to do it or more health bar to do it. As we see here, I mean, in the 1v1, I think Zeus is still doing a great job, but not in the 2v1.
Oh yeah, now 15 seconds on that dragon. Only someone that's down is aiming's flash. And, well, I guess Zeus can carry it, but only summoner for D+. So, T1, if they can find access to aiming, that would be obviously massive to set up for this one. D+, if they don't see the window for this, they can just give up this dragon, and I think it looks like that's what they're going to do.
Yeah, it looks like that it's not a fight that they're willing to take.
What can often happen is teams who are behind, they start to make a comeback.
Great knock up here from Showmaker, but you've got a teleport coming in. Showmaker is down so incredibly low, and Zeus he had the auto in the air. That's going to lock that one up. Flash out from Kingen, but Faker's here as well. And the thumbs up comes through. It's a double. They'll take a Drake as well, and T1, they just destroy them. D+ just not even a single good decision in sight.
Zeus wants an honest 1v1. He is tired of the 2v1s, and he just dunks on Showmaker. And now Baron going to get started up. Lucid does have flash. Moham is there to provide vision.
I don't think you want to go for a 50-50 on this one. Lucid has shown that his smite button has been pretty good, as Moham just wants to get some buttons away from Keria.
Wait!
Oh, there it goes. Okay, the Nature's Grasp does come on in. Owner and Gumayusi don't have a lot of damage, though, as the bullet time comes through. They're trying to keep themselves alive. Faker is burning down inside the pit, and now Showmaker gets in. They do manage to take down the Baron. It's Gumayusi that gets it. He also kills the junglers. Now Showmaker in the back of the pit. He sidesteps the Arctic Assault, and that's going to be a double kill for the Yone. So T1, they got what they wanted, but it wasn't clean.
What was that? It was so scrappy. There were so many things that happened. Guma holding the 4th shot on the Jinnle for like 30 seconds, it felt like, to secure the Baron with it.
All right, they take down the turret. Gumayusi in trouble.
There were so many things that went on there. I think
things are still happening.
Still happening. Still trying to make things happen. This is just T1 DK, this series, it feels like the game goes in a direction and then it just goes in every direction at the same time. This is a pretty big play coming out from Zeus.
Yep.
Says he's fighting top, he's taking his damage. The TP comes in, they get the follow up, and the thing is he hits Mega at this perfect time, ults to interrupt the Valkyrie as well.
And the wallop, like the wallop angle, the fact that it was right at max range, beautifully played there by Zeus.
Carrier knocks Lucid away, but Faker also leaves the pit, so they don't have damage on the Baron because Jin has to reload. So he's like, well, I'll just ult. And then Lucid, Onyr's like, I'll stop Lucid getting the pit, but then they both flash in, and no one knows what's going on. Faker comes in, so Guma's like, whatever, let's just try and sync up my 4th shot with it. They do get it, but you know, we've seen some controlled T1 Barons. That was like the least controlled I've ever seen. That was manic, but they got what they wanted. They still have a gold lead, and now they're trying to make use of this Baron.
And I tell you what, the conversation would have been very different if D+ had have somehow managed to take the Baron themselves, which was definitely possible.
Almost, honestly, there's a very good chance of it happening at that last moment.
Because look at this, the Rebel Baron power play is sitting at 700. Zeus is going to be able to push in this mid lane. That should be able to extend that gold get by a decent margin, especially with 1 minute left on this buff. Faker and Oner are the only two that don't have it, and Zeus is going to be able to take that inner turret down in mid. D+, they're going to have to make a play, make a move. They want to stop Zeus from just kind of winning the game, or at least breaking their stuff.
He wants that 50 gold from the Nexus.
Yeah, that's a good 50 gold.
Lucid going to move in, and Zeus will sense the pressure and move back. So he's going to be safe from this one. Now looking to go towards bot lane and apply some pressure there. And the thing is, if the rest of T1 keep the pressure here,
look at them both standing on wards. That was very, very cute.
If T1 don't get engaged on the top side while Zeus is maintaining this pressure, they just win off the back of this. You can see T1 start to back away as they saw D+ pushing up. The Baron's nearly ended. Zeus going to get some damage on this tower.
Yep.
He can take it, but there is Lucid moving in, so maybe he's a bit concerned about overstaying here.
Yeah, Lucid on vision right now, so they get the pings out.
Yeah, he will just back away. Doesn't quite get the tower, but it is low. Not a great Baron power play, I'm going to be honest, for T1. We've seen much more substantial ones. And also, often, like, taking the Baron can give you a big XP lead, but if we look across the board, the only real big XP lead is in the top lane. It's only a level, and he had that before, so yeah. I think D+ managed to keep things within arm's length. It is a long arm, but it is still there.
Yep, Moham actually hitting level 11 first as well. Level 16 now done for aiming, so bullet time going to be upgraded. And I think Zeus is definitely the biggest problem here for D+ right now. Has been throughout the whole series.
Also, the double Randuins from Oner and Zeus. Really great buy when there's so many. Well, that's one nice thing because Kingin hasn't built any items yet.
Yeah. There we go. When he gets that rapid fire cannon, you know, he'll be so upset.
You know, it's like you haven't even got close to your IE and you already seen the Randuin. Yep. Feel bad about it.
You're like, dude, why are you wasting your time on that? Okay, Lucid can be in a lot of trouble here and will be just taken down. Gumayusi locks that one up, and the Nature's Grasp comes down as well. Moham. Oh, can he see the angle? Then flash out from Gumayusi, just too good. Aiming now, trying to frontline. Actually kind of almost finds an angle, but he doesn't. That's going to be the Emperor's Divide used in celebration, as Zeus had already just killed everyone. Double kill for Faker as well, as they manage to get the Deadly Flourish. That's going to finish off the ace. And I think T1 might be starting their journey again, as they finish off D+ here in Game 4. D+, I mean, they had that one good one, but after that, it was all downhill from there, and T1 looking to try and take their rightful place in the final of the LCK. They've still got one more target, though, to do it.
You can never count them out. No matter what, T1 always find a way to bring it back, always find a way to sort of resurface in the playoffs. Struggles, tribulations, they will go through them, but they bounce back, they return to that form, and I feel like T1 managed to find that edge above D+. D+ who had a fantastic regular season, not able to bring it today, and T1 will advance to the LCK Summer Lower Finals. They will be traveling with us to